Ladies and gentlemen, the world doesn't reward the hesitant. It rewards those who decide to lead, those who walk into a room like they belong there, not because they're faking anything, but because they've chosen to trust themselves before the world ever had the chance. Let me tell you something that has built empires, transformed failures into giants, and pulled greatness out of ordinary people. The mindset that says, I am the best. No one is better than me. Now understand, this is not about arrogance. It's not about shouting louder than others or pretending to know it all. No, it's about carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who has done the work, paid the price, and now owns the right to walk with purpose. If you wait until others believe in you, you will wait forever. People follow conviction. They follow the person who already believes what they're saying before any applause comes. So why not be that person? Why not wake up tomorrow, look in the mirror, and act as if you are the best? But what if I'm not? Some of you may ask. Then let me ask you this. Who told you that the best wasn't once where you are right now? The difference is, they acted differently. They prepared relentlessly. They dared to believe. You see, the top is not reserved for the gifted. It's reserved for the determined. You don't earn confidence by waiting. You earn it by deciding that your voice matters, your effort counts, and your dreams are valid. Act as if you're the best, not because you want to deceive others, but because you are reminding yourself of who you're becoming. Because every champion was once an underdog who chose to act like they belonged in the ring. The moment you begin to act like you're the best is the same moment your mind starts opening doors that were always closed, not because they were locked, but because you never thought to knock. Self-belief isn't wishful thinking. It's the internal compass that points you toward every result you'll ever achieve. If you don't believe in yourself, why would anyone else? There's a common myth that confidence is something you're born with, like blue eyes or height. That's false. Confidence is developed. It's built moment by moment, action by action, decision by decision. It's not magic, it's muscle. And like any muscle, it grows when you push it past its comfort zone. Now think about the people you admire, those who seem unshakable, unstoppable, almost magnetic. What's their real advantage? It's not always intelligence. It's not wealth. It's not privilege. It's certainty. They decided they belonged where they are long before anyone gave them permission. And that certainty comes from one place, belief. But here's the hard truth. No one can install belief in you. You can't borrow it. You can't fake it forever. You have to build it. And it starts by recognizing that the thoughts you repeat to yourself will either become your power or your prison. When you tell yourself, I'm not ready, your body listens. When you say, I'm not as good as them, your talent shrinks. When you think, why would anyone choose me? You walk differently, speak with less strength, and move through life like an extra in your own story. But when you say, I belong here, something changes. You stand taller. You respond instead of react. You ask better questions. You become more curious, more assertive, more alive. Because self-belief is the root of all action. Without it, we hesitate. We play it safe. We shrink. With it, we lean in. We take risks. We show up even when we're scared. You don't get that kind of belief from motivation videos or empty affirmations alone. You earn it through commitment, through preparation, through consistency. You don't need to have every answer to believe in yourself. You just need enough proof that when you show up, you grow. That when you try, you improve. That when you fall, you rise again. Here's the paradox. The world believes in those who already believe in themselves. It sounds unfair, but it's not. It's just human nature. People trust certainty. They trust energy. They trust the person who speaks not with ego, but with clarity. When you walk into a room already acting like you are the best, not better than everyone else, but unapologetically at your highest level, you give others a reason to take notice. Because the way you treat yourself becomes the standard for how others treat you. If you undervalue your voice, they will too. If you hold back your ideas, they will assume you don't have any. But if you show up like your thoughts matter, like your presence makes a difference, the room starts to shift. People lean in, you stop chasing validation, and start commanding attention. This is not ego. This is ownership. Of course, self-belief doesn't mean ignoring your weaknesses or pretending to be perfect. It means knowing that even with flaws, you are still capable. Even with fear, you can still move. Even with doubt, you can still do the work. And when you start showing up like someone worth listening to, people listen because self-belief is contagious. It gives others permission to believe in themselves too. Self-belief, as we've just discussed, is the foundation. But foundations mean nothing if you don't build something on them. And what you build, your results, your confidence, your right to act like the best, is constructed through preparation. Because belief without preparation is fantasy, but belief backed by discipline, that's inevitable success in motion. You see, the reason most people can't act like they're the best is because they know, deep down, that they haven't earned the right to. They want to walk tall, but their preparation is shallow. They want to speak with conviction, but they've done just enough to get by, not enough to feel solid. Preparation is what gives belief weight. It's what allows you to say, "No one is better than me," and mean it, not out of arrogance, but because you've outworked most people in the room. The truth is, confidence grows from the hours no one sees. The early mornings, the late nights, the extra effort when no one asked for it, the second and third drafts when the first was good enough. That's where your authority comes from. And it's not about perfection. It's about being so prepared that fear doesn't get to make your decisions for you anymore. Because fear fades when competence rises. When you've studied, trained, practiced, rehearsed, learned, failed, and refined, you stop walking into opportunities hoping to survive. You walk in expecting to lead. That kind of confidence doesn't come from ego. It comes from earned respect. The kind of respect you give yourself when you've shown up even when no one else was watching. There's something powerful about looking in the mirror and knowing, I've put in the work. I've done what others weren't willing to do. That changes your posture. That silences the voice in your head that says you don't deserve the stage, the deal, the job, the opportunity. Because when you've prepared thoroughly, deeply, consistently, you do deserve it. That's what makes the mindset of act as if you are the best, real, and not just performance. Because you're not faking anything. You're standing on the solid ground of repetition, sweat, and commitment. You're not just hoping to win. You've made winning likely. You've removed excuses. You've filled in the gaps. You've trained so hard that even your weakest moments look strong to others. When you prepare like the best, you naturally begin to act like the best. Because preparation changes your identity, it rewires how you see yourself. It turns "I hope I can" into "I know I will." It takes you from wishing to knowing, from pretending to owning, and don't confuse busy work with preparation. Real preparation is intentional. It's not scrolling articles or watching videos to feel productive. It's deep, focused practice. It's dissecting your weaknesses. It's studying not just what works, but why it works. It's building systems that make success repeatable, not occasional. Those who rise aren't the ones who fake excellence under pressure. They're the ones who have rehearsed excellence until it's automatic. When others are nervous, they're calm. When others are overwhelmed, they're ready. When others break under the weight of the moment, they stand up taller, because they've carried heavier loads in training than they'll ever carry in public. And this is where belief and preparation connect, because the more you prepare, the more natural self-belief becomes. You don't have to manufacture confidence anymore, it flows. You don't have to hype yourself up. It's already built in. You walk differently, not because you're pretending, but because you're practiced. This is the antidote to imposter syndrome. It's not tricking yourself into feeling worthy. It's becoming worthy. It's building yourself into someone who doesn't need to act like the best for appearances. You do it because it's your truth. You're not standing in someone else's shoes. You've grown your own. And preparation isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it is empowering. It's the grind that gives your greatness structure. The work no one applauds, but everyone eventually notices. When you've built belief through mindset and strengthened it through preparation, the final wall to break is the illusion of superiority, the idea that others are simply better than you by default. But here's the truth that most never admit. Others only seem better because they started acting before you did. What you're really seeing isn't superiority, it's visibility. You're seeing people who had the courage to step forward, not necessarily the skill to win. The world is full of people who are being celebrated not because they're the most talented, but because they competed while others hesitated. Every expert you admire once felt behind. Every genius once sat where you sit, questioning their worth, wondering if they were enough. But at some point, they chose to step into the arena. And that single decision, to compete rather than compare, is what made the difference. Until you compete, everyone looks taller. Their wins look bigger. Their path looks clearer. That's because you're viewing it from the sidelines. But the moment you step in, you realize most people aren't ahead because they're superior. They're ahead because they started. They moved, they kept going when it was awkward, slow, or unclear. And the dangerous part is this: the longer you wait, the more you exaggerate others in your mind. You build them into giants and shrink yourself into a shadow. You forget that they're people with flaws, doubts, limitations, just like you. You forget that you have strengths they don't. You don't see that they're still learning too. But once you choose to enter the game, not just in theory, but in real action, you gain a new perspective. You see their cracks, you see their shortcuts, you see where you actually exceed them, and more importantly, you start seeing where you belong, not in their shadow, but in the same space. You stop saying they're better, and you start saying, I can win this. You stop idolizing and start analyzing. You learn, you adapt, you grow, and soon the people you once saw as distant become peers, because when you compete, you evolve. You expand your identity from watcher to contender. The truth is, no one hands out the title of the best. It's claimed not through declarations, but through presence, through performance, through pressure. If you want to become the best, you have to enter the same arena as the best and show what you're capable of. The lie that stops people isn't I'm not ready. It's they're too far ahead. But the gap isn't as wide as you think. It only looks big when you stand still. As soon as you start moving, you realize they're human. Fallible, reachable. Your job is not to be perfect on day one. Your job is to decide you belong and back that decision with consistent action. And don't wait for someone to invite you into the competition. No one's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, you're ready now. You have to step up without applause, without permission. Because those at the top didn't wait for confirmation. They acted like the best long before anyone acknowledged it. That's what separates the few from the many. Most people want validation before action, but those who rise are the ones who act first and let the results validate them later. You don't beat people by watching them. You beat them by working when they're comfortable, by pushing where they slow down, by staying focused while they seek praise. The only way to know how you measure up is to enter the same race and run your best version of it. And when you do, the illusion fades. You stop saying they're better than me, and you start saying, now let's see what happens. You bring your belief, you bring your preparation, and you find out very quickly that the only real advantage anyone has is willingness to start, to stay, to finish. The moment you compete, you stop being invisible. You stop being almost. You become part of the conversation, and eventually you become the one others watch, not because you're untouchable, but because you showed up when they didn't. That's what it means to act like the best. It's not about ego, it's about action. It's about deciding you are no longer an observer. You are a force, and from that moment forward, there is no one better. Just those who are willing, and those who are waiting.